Today, Toxic Taters is out here with Minwoo doing water testing clinics where we will screen for nitrates and chloride. Yesterday we were out in Pine Point, today we'll be in Callaway, and tomorrow we'll be in Detroit Lake. So it's not just Callaway, it's just kind of everybody in the rural area here. They are bringing their water from home. It could be their well water, it could be their kitchen sink water. They may use a softener or something like that that maybe makes them feel safe, but maybe there's still something going on, so we just always recommend that they could just bring both.
We're looking to see how vulnerable a well is to contamination.
You can't taste a lot of contaminants, so you need to test your water to see if it's safe, and that's our goal and mission. And we're a nonprofit. We don't have any government connections, and our only concern is about the water at your kitchen sink. The chloride test is what's called a titration. We put a compound in it, and it changes color whenever the high chlorides exist. So most of the wells do not have high chloride levels. It's most common near roadways that get salt, or people that have septic systems that have water softeners that use a lot of salt. But it's an indicator of a risk to your water, so it's important to do that. The nitrate analyzer is a very sophisticated ultraviolet reading device that will put a certain wavelength it can detect the wavelength of ultraviolet light that comes out of nitrates. So it can, both of these tests can test in the part per million range for these compounds.
High levels of nitrates indicate that there is excessive nitrogen leaching from row crops, primarily corn and soybeans as well as potatoes in this area. The plants can't use it during the growing season for a variety of reasons. It ends up leaching into the groundwater and shows up in people's wells. Nitrates matter in the first instance because nitrates can be harmful to our most vulnerable population, that is children under 6 months of age. It can affect the way they utilize oxygen in their blood, and the result can be blue baby syndrome. So kids can actually turn blue if they're drinking high nitrate water, for example, in their formula. Nitrates are also correlated to pesticides. If you think about nitrogen fertilizer and pesticides, they're applied on the same locations, ag fields. And so oftentimes where nitrates go, pesticides also go, but because pesticide concentrations are so expensive, we normally don't monitor for pesticides. But if you have high nitrates, there's a really good probability, upwards of 70, 80, 90%, all depending on the value, that you've also got pesticides in your drinking water. And so we recommend to people that have high nitrates that they also get tested for pesticides.
If you're in an area of high risk, you got to test for nitrates every other year. You should test for bacteria every year if that's a problem.
Toxic Taters is about education, awareness, and preserving land and water for generations to come. So our goal is to do this annually, and maybe even a little bit more if we hear something and there's maybe some more concerns, we'll do it again. But for this water testing, we're looking to do it annually.
Our mission is to just advocate for private well owners. Private well owners end up having all the responsibilities and none of the protections. So if you've got polluted water in your well, nobody's going to come to the rescue. Nobody's going to come in and say, oh, we'll give you a treatment system because we polluted your water. That doesn't happen with private well owners. Contrast municipalities, they have to test quarterly, okay? Private well owners don't have to test. That's part of what we're advocating for here today, to do the testing so that they know they have safe drinking water or not.